So here we go again, round two. I have to apologize, I don't normally wear a hat, it's casual, but I had surgery last night, I've got 20 stitches holding the neck and my head together. So I'm going to be reading from a script, and I don't know how long I'm going to be around here tonight, I'll stick around as long as I can. But like I say, I don't usually wear caps. No disrespect. So first of all, I want to start by welcoming you here tonight. I'm Mark Busick, Superintendent of Schools. I want to thank you and congratulate you for your engagement, care and concern for the education of your children. Your present participation here tonight is evidence of that commitment. Across the district, we work very hard to develop trusting relationships with our learners and families. And that's certainly true here in Twin Lakes with Mr. Collins and his staff here. It's truly a great school. And a lot of that work is evidenced by, on your table here, you have copies of our strategic plan. This has really been the roadmap for the future for our district over the last 4 years. And take it home with you, take a look at it. You'll see what we've been trying to accomplish over the last 4 years. We have one more year left on this charge. And then we'll be restarting the cycle up again as far as what are we going to look for the next 5 to 6 years. And there's 35 results statements or goals, basically what we've been trying to accomplish over the last 4 years. And I think we're roughly going to be up about 30 of them accomplished at the end of this year. So we do have some work to do next year in this final year. But again, take a look at it. We do have a core planning committee that meets once a year to evaluate the work we've done on this. And then that group helps set the targets for next year. Charlie, do we have thoughts on that yet?
Yes, we particularly need folks in the south, though, Mark. We're pretty good in Elk River.
Okay, forget it. Just kidding. Another, just a brief message here. We have 4 open seats for the school board this next fall. One will be on the primary ballot in August, and then 3 more will be in the fall, in November. And the board is hosting 3 sessions over the next few weeks before the deadline for registering for that, for the election. And this will be out on, I think we'll be putting it on social media and we'll be in the paper, I think. But there's a meet and greet April 5th from 6 to 7 in Rogers in the Media Center this next week. April 18th from 6 to 7 at Elk River High School, Community Room 105. It's April 18th. And then May 16th in Zimmerman at Westwood Media Center from 6:30 to 7:30. Basically what those sessions will be is let you know what you're getting in for if you're considering running for the board. And I would highly suggest that either show up at one of those meetings or you give me a call and I'll sit down with you for a couple hours and just lay out what the expectations are and just kind of shape the districts in and what are some of the hot topics and things besides boundary changes for the next few years. So the reason we're here is, the common denominator here is Twin Lakes Elementary for all of you tonight. Twin Lakes is a great school right now, will be greatly over the next few years. While I'm sure many of you know others in this room, I guess there's a good chance that you may not know everyone sitting at your table. So what I'd like to do is just take 2 minutes right now, because you're going to be spending some time with these people tonight. Just introduce yourselves to each other. Take about 2 minutes. Just introduce yourselves and say who you are. We're living the high school, all that, okay. Before turning it over to Mr. Collins and Twin Lakes parent Jim Hughes, they're going to host the evening, they'll be facilitating the meeting. I want to clarify and make a couple of points about where we are in this process and propose basically just what the parameters of tonight's meeting are, what the expectations are. And what I want to do is I want to back up just a little bit, because I'm sure not all of you have been to the board meetings and kind of know what's happening and why we're here tonight. And again, I just want to go through a couple things very quickly. And the best way to do this is just to read it again, because I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. At one of our last board meetings, Chair Thompson read this statement. And I'm just going to reread this real quickly. As Chair of ISD 728, it's my job to listen to our constituents, coordinate the work of the board, and work closely with our superintendent, Dr. Music, in finding a long-term solution to our capacity and facility issues across our district that meets the needs of all learners, parents, and staff. First, I'd like to start off by thanking the community teams and the administration for their hard work and efforts developing a proposal for our consideration. With that being said, we are concerned about the potential growth in the eastern portion of Elk River and the long-term impact it may have throughout the center of the district. And as you can see, they're already starting to, the logging operations and the plotting. This is going to be developed out here in the next 3 to 5 years. Therefore, we'll not act on the recommendation from 4004 committee, and we will refer this matter to Superintendent Music to develop an acceptable one-year short-term plan for Twin Lakes and to coordinate a community constituency-led long-term plan for the center of the district. It's not that we don't support the work of the 4004 committee over the past weeks. We do, and we're grateful for their time and effort. Their work has garnered the attention of many constituents that have garnered the attention of many constituents that have expressed their respective views. We need to take more time to develop a long-range plan beyond a 3-year proposal. What I prepared for the board was these 8 options. Actually, myself, the cabinet, looked at what are some possibilities for next year. And again, I'm just going to read a short paragraph here. The student population at Twin Lakes School is expected to rise to 920 students for the upcoming 16-17 school year. This puts Twin Lakes 170 students over design capacity. There's 2 types of capacity. There's design capacity and there's building capacity. Design capacity is what the building was designed to be used for, like computer labs, not classrooms. Music and art, not the classroom. So that's design capacity, and we're over that. Complicating the short-term solution, complicating the situation is expected housing developments in the immediate area. The short-term solution developed by the 4004 committee was a good short-term solution, but after listening to constituents, the school board feels that they need time to develop a longer-range solution that involves possibly realigning the entire center of the district. We need time to develop a solution. Let me talk a little bit about what that means about realigning the center of the district. And in my job, I'm more of a business person than I am an educator these days, and I have to look at the long-term implications, fiscal implications, and basically protect the taxpayers also. What we need to do, because we have capacity in the district, we have 3 schools that have declining enrollment. We have Lincoln, we have Meadowvale, and we have Vandenberg. And we need to get growth areas into those schools, and we also have to be concerned with what's happening out here. And that's really, we don't know exactly how quick this is going to come online. But basically what we have to do, what this committee will be looking at, the board will form this new 4004 committee, but it will be looking at the whole center of the district. And when you look at the map, basically what we have to do is we have to shift to the west. We have to get growth areas into Meadowvale, we have to get growth areas into Lincoln, which feed into Vandenberg. That can't be done for next year. That's going to take some time. You can see just what the issues are here. We're trying to help the capacity here for 1 year. It's gonna take a long process, but we can get through that. And when I talk about implications for taxpayers, why would we build another school out here somewhere with expected growth when we have capacity in the center of the district? Once we balance this out, what we can do over the once we balance it out, will probably buy us for 5 to 7 years. Then if we need more capacity in the center, which we will, we can put smaller additions onto every one of those elementaries, including this one here, before we go out and ask for $40 million to build another elementary school. So it's just being fiscally responsible. One of the issues we have is a more pressing issue that we should have paid attention to years ago was the Otsego area over there. We lose 500 kids a year to St. Michael because we don't have space and capacity down there. So about the time that these developments kick in, we'll probably be looking for 2 more elementary schools once we balance out the center of the district. So again, that's kind of the rationale for where we're at right now and why we're taking this longer approach rather than doing a short-term solution, because we would probably be back here depending on what happens in the next year or 2. So what I want to go through here, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So parameters for tonight. When we have meetings like this, we always set parameters so everyone knows what's expected of tonight and how the conversation will go. So basically, the school board has clarified that there will be no attendance boundary changes implemented for the 16-17 year. So we're not discussing boundary changes. That will be the next committee that will be formed when we look at balancing the center of the district. School board and district are planning to develop and implement community-based process leading to comprehensive recommendations on long-term boundary changes for the 17-18 year. So we have 1 more year. Everyone will stay right where they're at, unless tonight, your input says, which one of these 8 options do you like? Our purpose and focus tonight is to dialogue and seek input from Twin Lakes parents on preferred solutions for delivering quality education for the Twin Lakes students in the 16-17 school year. My hope is that by the end of tonight, this group has prioritized what they think is a good solution for next year. Maybe 1, 2, or 3, and then it'll go back to the school board. So parameters tonight, result from tonight's meeting will, from tonight's meeting, as well as data from the survey of Twin Lakes parents will be considered in deciding on the solutions there. So people that aren't here from Twin Lakes will also, that couldn't make it tonight, there will be a survey going out. They'll be able to take a look at the work that you've done, and they'll be able to weigh in on it. We're also videotaping this, so anybody that wants to take a look at it, they can also see what took place tonight. So we're trying to get as much input as we can from the parents here. We ask that you fully engage fully in tonight's discussion, 1-year solution for Twin Lakes, and we really want to refrain from discussing the boundary shifts. That's another conversation. I will stick around as long as I can tonight. If anybody wants to talk about the 4004 committee, or you can just call me, make an appointment, come see me. I'll try and stick around as much as I can. But tonight we're dealing with 16-17 and that 1 year fix. So again, just to reiterate this, the dialogue is to seek input from parents on preferred solutions for next year. If that's not what you're here for, you're at the wrong meeting. So I need you to go ahead with understanding that. Is there anyone here that feels they're at the wrong meeting, that they can't participate in the discussion about next year's parameters? Okay, sounds good. With that, Dan, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I'm just going to start out by saying thanks for coming to the PTO meeting tonight. This is the best PTO showing we've ever had. Thank you. This is awesome. We should have this at every PTO meeting. Really, huh? If you're really involved with your kids, come on out to PTO meeting. I'm usually the only male. It's awesome. It's awesome. One thing about tonight, I noticed, by the way, I'm Mr. Collins, I think most of y'all know that, I hope. One thing that was cool about tonight, no, I was very nervous, I probably still am, but I got a new outfit out of it. My wife went and bought me a new outfit on. Hey, yeah, score. One thing about it though, it's gray and it's starting to show my gray hair. And more gray came in this past couple weeks, right? I want to introduce Jim Hughes. Jim's over here in the corner. I'll have you come up in a few minutes. Jim, I asked a community member, the school board asked me to lead this tonight and to lead it with a community member. Jim has a student here, a son here at Twin Lakes. He also works here for us with Adventure Club. So Jim's going to help you with the presentation. I want to go over a couple things. You have this in front of you. We're gonna, if you have notes, jot them down. If you have more pros and cons than what we have put on here, write them down. Okay? Good old sticky notes. If you have questions, if we don't answer, we're going to go through the slide presentation. We won't answer questions during the slide presentation. Write your questions down. If you have questions, and then we'll come around, we have people that are going to come around, collect them, and we'll try to answer them at the end of the session tonight. Okay? Sticky notes. One thing I want to say, and I'm not going to read this, you can read this. I'm very, very, very proud of Twin Lakes. We have an excellent staff. Our staff will do anything for me. And that's true, I believe. They have, and I'll do anything for them. With that said, we have a great partnership with our families. A great partnership. I feel so connected with families. It's a good partnership. There's a reason why we're a school of excellence. We are a school of excellence. That's earned. We earned it. Through staff, through parents, through community, through our children. We're always looking to get better. Always. Parents are able to come, they'll send me suggestions. I do never turn a suggestion away. I might bring it to the staff. I'll talk with the parent, come in, but we're always looking to improve. And that's why we're a school of excellence. Tonight we're sitting here, we're going to go over some things. The key thing about tonight is the main focus is next year. That's my main focus. What are we going to do for next year? The board decided no boundary lines. I can't do anything about that, right? What I can do is discuss things that will happen in my building, your building, our building. We can discuss that. I think we can go over these options pretty quickly, and we can come to a conclusion. I do. But let's go through them. I don't want to be too biased, because you may think different than me. That's okay. But let's go through them, Jim. I do want to give out a few facts. A few facts, because sometimes papers, sometimes when you read things, see things on that naughty Facebook. I've heard about that. Shame on you if you're saying things that are not factual. I don't go on Facebook. My wife tells me all about it. Here is a fact. a fact right here. This school year, the current year that we're in, our average class size from kindergarten to 5th grade is 26.5. The average, K-5. The district's average is 24.8. Next school year, with the kids that are going to be coming, the projection, roughly about 920. Next year, our average K-5 will be 25.2, and the district will be 24.8. You might ask, how can that happen? We're adding to this building. We could have added last year one more teacher, probably, if we would have pushed it. Now we're getting another teacher, and that's what drops that. Give you another picture of next school year before we go into the slides. 920 students. Each grade level, K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will have 6 teachers, except kindergarten right now will be at 5. We add one more classroom to this building next year. Keep that in mind when we're talking. Right now, we have a classroom in the technology room. That's okay. Our staff feels okay with that. Why? Because we have gotten mobile carts. We're getting more mobile carts next year through the levy and bond that you passed. So next year, each grade level will get more carts. It's going to happen where we don't need a computer lab. All kids will have a mobile device in front of them. They will in this district because you approved that. That will happen in the future. Okay? We have 2 classrooms up in the media center. 5th grade. Is this ideal? It's not ideal. Is it working? Depends on who you talk to. I talk to my teachers. I talk to the students daily. I go in there daily. Is it working? I believe so. I believe they're getting the same education, the same curriculum that the other kids are getting. Matter of fact, we move kids out from 5th grade into other rooms. For math, they team teach, they do math, they do reading. Our teachers have gone above and beyond to make it work. I've told that to Dr. Bezic, Jan, the school board. You put something in front of us, we will do it. You put this in front of us this year, next year, can we handle it? Yeah. Is it the best? I'm not going to answer that. Can we handle it? Yes. I talked to our staff this morning. We had a staff meeting. We've had several staff meetings. This affects us too. We live it. We're here daily. We had a staff meeting today. It was awesome. They came back with, Dan, we can do it. We can do it. How are we going to do it? Maybe I'll tell you here. I'll give you some of my opinion at the end, maybe. But I don't want to because I want you to get some of the facts first, pros and cons. But again, I go back to the focus. Next year. That's all I'm worried about right now. Can we do it? Yes. Let's see some more of our... Uh-oh.
Goes over. Thank you.
Jim's getting rid of his nerves. I won't go there. Sorry if I should be moving this way too and that way, but so we're gonna go through this. Our process is this. We're gonna go through the 8 suggestions that Dr. Bezic presented to the board. The board asked me to come back to my families here at Twin Lakes, get feedback. Let's give them feedback. Okay? Let's give them feedback. Either tonight or through that survey. Here we go. Jim's going to read through these slides. I'm going to jump in if I feel that I need to give a little more clarification. If you don't feel like clarified enough, sticky note. Write your question down. We'll come around, Joe, Jana, others will come around. Okay, here we go.
Thank you. Nice help. Okay, I'm here to present your solutions. There's 8 of them. We're going to try and go through them here. Again, if you have any questions, please write them down and we can try and get to them. Option 1 is to fully utilize all the classrooms. And this option uses the same Twin Lakes space and classrooms that we have now. The master schedule will allow for an additional classroom as a traveling classroom, which I think we can explain a little bit later. Another way to fully utilize classrooms is to use the team teaching model.
You're done. I want to explain this a little bit more. This option 1 is let Twin Lakes staff, administration handle how we're going to do it in our building. This is how. This is a good idea. The staff came up this morning. After talking about it, I'll go back to 6 sections in grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One option through this. There's 3, 4, 5 options in option 1. If the staff and I brainstorm and have time. Just this morning, and I thought it was, hey, it's a good idea. We can take a grade level, and I'm just going to pick on a grade level that has the least amount of students in it for next year, 2nd grade. Instead of giving them 6 teachers that have classrooms, we give them 5 classrooms. We don't add any more classrooms. But that 2nd grade team, they get an extra teacher to go into their classrooms and help those 5 teachers pull out kids that need extra help in reading, may need extra help in math, maybe do a pull-out for a good science activity, but to go in and push in and work with those 2nd grade, the 5 teachers. What does that do to their class size? For 2nd grade, it raises 5 students. What does it do to the average up there that I showed earlier? There's 1 school that has the same amount of kids. Actually, 0.5 less. 26.5. We'd be at close to 27. Have we had 27 before? Yeah. It's an idea. It can work without adding another classroom. Another idea, the traveling teacher, I call it. You can make it work. I'm going to talk principal stuff to you, okay? I create a schedule, and that schedule is for the whole staff. Each staff member during the day, your kids, I'll talk students, your kid gets 1 hour a day on something special. Music, phys ed, art, technology, right? I create that for all the teachers. So when your child has music, phys ed, art, technology, that classroom is empty. also, during the day, I've scheduled it where our 5 music teachers are on the same block for about an hour and a half, I'll say, where their gym and music rooms are open. So what does a traveling teacher do? They use the rooms that are empty while those kids are at 5 or music or technology. Understand? Or they can also go into the gym, music area, probably the music area, for that hour and a half as well, when it's not being used. Can it work? Yep. Let Twin Lakes staff, administration, figure it out. We can do it. We can do it.
Okay, the pros that are going to go along with this are keeps all the staff and students at Twin Lakes. Specialists maintain their space. Always building, allows the building to manage space and programming. The cons to this are they may move multiple times during the day. Teachers lose room for prep. Some students may not have a homeroom. Some students are not in traditional classrooms. And a locker space shortage. The cost that would be for the lockers would be $18,000 and about $1,000 for if we need to move teachers. Okay. Any questions with that? Or should we go ahead?
Yeah, we're like, they can write down. Shame on you guys. We'll be here till midnight. I will clarify just again on this one is because it's something different when I say traveling teacher. And that goes down to the con that says same students may not have a homeroom. If you understand it, that teacher in your class are moving into a different class every hour. So you're moving with the class. But does it have to be the same teacher? No. You share with your team. I'll pick on another, should I pick on another grade level? Who wants to be picked on? 3rd grade. So 3rd grade, if I'm a 6-member team, I can share that classroom movement every other hour. So maybe I'm only moving 1 hour. I just don't have a home room. But we can make a home room for that. I will say this on all these options that stay here. We're short lockers. We're short lockers, and that'll be something that the district, I will meet with the district and see what we can do for lockers. That we're about 80 short. We dealt with it this year for 2 classrooms. Is it ideal? Not during the winter, not if you have a student that's, right? I can see some parents shaking their head already. Yeah, it's not ideal, but we did make it work for about 60 kids this year, but I'd like to talk to the district about what we can do better. Option 2, Jim.
Is making art and music mobile. Art and music instruction will go to the student versus the students going to the specific art or music classroom. Art and music rooms would be used as classrooms, providing up to 3 additional rooms. The pros with this option is keeps all staff and students at Twin Lakes, traditional classrooms, and allows the building to manage space and programming. The cons, art and music are on carts, possible use of commons. Music, art curriculum will be modified. Some students are not in traditional classrooms, and locker space shortage. Lockers would be $18,000.
This one's pretty simple, but I do want to clarify just again, what does this look like? We don't have an art room. We don't have a music room. We go into the classrooms and do music and art. Those music and art teachers would be going into the classroom. So your students would be in that room all day. But they would go in there and the music would be in that classroom. What does that also do? That would take away the two up in the media center. But it would be, if you've been in our classrooms, music would have to be modified. And that's not fair to our kids for curriculum-wise.
Option 3, divide half the gymnasium into 3 classrooms. One of the 2 gyms would be converted into a classroom space. The pros with this is we reclaim the media center. The cons or negatives are the physical education curriculum will be modified, sound concerns, and impacts beyond the school day, community ed, and community users. The dividers would be $12,000 and the furniture would be between $7,000 and $14,000. Option number 4, have 5th grade students attend class at the Minnesota School of Business. The site has several classrooms which could accommodate a grade level. The options would move about 150 5th graders and open 5 classrooms at Twin Lakes. The pros.
Just quick on that. I like the mic all of a sudden. The kids would tell you I don't like the mic. That's a joke. Does everyone know where the Minnesota School Business is and all that? The district purchased the Minnesota School Business, and we would be busing our 5th grade down to the Minnesota School Business. Okay, that's what this option is stating. Okay, looks like everyone knew that.
The pros with this would be alternate learning experiences. Media center would be reclaimed and most class space opened at Twin Lakes And the cons would be possible separation of siblings, no interaction with other grade levels, loss of instructional time due to travel, and multiple student pickup challenges. You have something to say? I apologize. Yes, the cost. Transportation, $26,000. Nursing services, $40,000. Traveling specialists would be up to $40,000. And the delay and move would be $17,500. $123,500. Option 5. Split shift the 5th grade between Twin Lakes and Minnesota School. In this model, students would receive language, arts, and math instruction at the Minnesota School of Business and in return to Twin Lakes for lunch, science, health, and possibly social studies, and electives, physical education, art, music, and technology. The pros, lunch and special services are back at Twin Lakes. Students would receive specialist time at Twin Lakes and remain somewhat connected to the school. The cons are loss of instructional time while on the bus, transportation costs, possible separation of siblings, cost for security and improvements, administration and staffing, and multiple student pickups. Double transportation would be $52,000, and delay of the district office would be $17,500.
I just want to make sure, does everyone understand this one? So 5th grade, 6 sections. 3 would go in the morning. They would go down to the Minnesota School of Business. The teachers would go with them or be there. That'd be a discussion. They go down there and then they come back here for 5 music, art, lunch. And then the next group of 5th graders would go. That's what the split shift is. That's what the difference is. Option number 6.
This option adds temporary classrooms to Twin Lakes campus, and that would be bringing portables to address the classroom needs. The pros with this is keeps all staff and students at Twin Lakes, provides classroom space, and reclaims all specialists in their rooms. The cons contradicts bond and levy, lease and utility costs for temps. Portables are separate from the school building, which is a security concern. And cost is $200,000 per year, it's a lease, and the additional utility cost would be $15,000. Option number 7, move 1 grade for 1 year to Lincoln. This option reduces the student load at Twin Lakes for 16 and 17, as years 2016 and 17, and uses available classroom space at Lincoln. The pros of this is traditional classrooms, all services are available, space is available, saves administrative costs, allows students to go to a gym, music room, art, and technical, Cons, 1 grade level will be unhappy, possibly split of siblings, additional busing, lost instructional time, multiple student pickup challenges, and loss of instructional time due to travel. The cost is a transportation cost of $26,000, and the moving of teachers is $1,000.
With this option, we've discussed it administratively, and right now, it would probably be kindergarten that would move. Probably. I don't get to make that decision, the board makes that decision. Okay, but we've been mostly leaning towards kindergarten if that was the option.
Option number 8, close open enrollment and in-district transfers to new families. This option alone does not solve the 2016-17 issue for Twin Lakes. The pros, it stops growth from outside of Twin Lakes boundary line. The cons, possible loss of revenue from open enrollment families. And it's unknown of the impact because we don't have the revenue.
This is already happening, I just want you to know this. But it was presented to the board, but I do want to say, we are closed to open enrollment. We are closed to in-district transfers. This took place last year at the end of April roughly, right Joe, I'd say? Yep, right around the end of April. So we've been closed for that. With that being closed, there'll be fewer kids that would come in because their families, if you're already here, you would be grandfathered in if you have another student coming. Okay? But it's already happening. But we had to address it because it was given to the board. Okay. Now we want your input. for the next 15 or 20 minutes, we'd like you, and you can get up and move to another table if you want to talk with other people that you didn't come with, maybe. But we want you to discuss with your table the issues you want to discuss, the pros and cons, if you have more pros and cons. If you have questions, there'll be people coming around grabbing your question. We'll take them over and we'll try to get an answer yet tonight, if we can answer them yet tonight. Okay, so 15 to 20 minutes. We'd like to get started here, if I could have your attention. Just like a staff meeting, I'm telling you. Once you let them talk, they talk forever. Oh, good one, hey! Don't give them any ammo. All right, I'm going to answer some questions. I think if we could stop writing, we could get through this by midnight. I'll do my best, and if I can't answer it, and if they can't, we'll take it and we'll try to get it out somehow, the answer. The first question I'm going to ask is, do principals at Lincoln want an additional grade at their school? It was brought up in the 4004 committee that they were opposed. Lack of community feel. They'd be doing their time. Families wouldn't be committed. Let me say this about Lincoln. It's a phenomenal school. Lincoln is a phenomenal school. All our schools are great. I think Lincoln would be thrilled to take our families if they were kindergarten. I do. I think they'd be thrilled. My wife teaches there. When I hear things that are negative about Lincoln, it just, ugh. And I hope that she doesn't hear it. That's why I say shame on Facebook sometimes. Lincoln is a phenomenal school, just like Parker, Meadowvale, all our schools, and they have great staff. I'd love to work with them. Okay. What opinion do our teachers support? That's a tough one. And as I talked to them this morning, they support me. I really believe that. And we will make it work for your kids. I believe that. So, they may have a different opinion, but whatever we decide, they're backing it 100%. These are all ones. I might not be able to answer these. Maybe not. You say moving is a con up on the sheet for number 1. These are option 1. Option 1 is letting the building decide and the teachers decide, right? With maybe a push-in model, moving on a cart, different ideas. You say moving is a con, but don't we want our kids to move and be active? Right on, whoever wrote that. Phi-Ed, baby. We need Phi-Ed. We need our gym space. Can we cross out one or, oh, I'm jumping the gun, just wait. Combine, okay, here's a couple that say combine number 8 and 1 up here. Number 1 is what I just said, and number 8 is close open enrollment. Close open enrollment. We have to leave it up there because that's what the board wants. But, again, it is already closed. It's closed. We're not bringing in, the only new kids we would bring in at this time would be kindergarten kids that have families here.
How many board members are here?
That's a question, write it down. I know, just wait. I'll have to answer that. I'll try to answer that. I'll let someone else answer that. I get in the newspaper too much. No. How are you making me forget what I was going to say? Number 8, or combine 1 and 8. Again, I'll just say we're closed. Someone asked a good question up here on open enrollment and in district transfer on numbers, and that might come up on questions, so I'm going to answer it right now. Right now, we have about 124 students combined, open enrollment and in-district transfer kids. Next year we'll have, because we've closed it now, next year we'll have roughly 120. So it goes down 24 kids. Okay? Okay. Okay. Next question. These are option one. No. Yeah, it is. And they're asking, can a teacher that is teaching in the media center speak on behalf of the success of this option? How does test taking work for classrooms in the library? Is it quiet enough? Do I have a teacher at all in the building? Do you want to speak to that real quick? Come on up. Mrs. Herbert? Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm not gonna be emotional, I'm very sorry. We, in 5th grade, have done, together, it's not Mrs. Cook and I who is over there and she should have to stand up. We have done this with Mrs. Pinska and Mr. McGorry and Mr. K. This has been a team effort. The kiddos, 4/5 of them, so everybody but Mr. McGorry's students, they see Mrs. Cook and I every day. Vice versa, they see Mr. K and Mrs. Pinska every day for instruction. They get about an hour and a half of their day with us in the media center where we are teaming. I'll speak to the teaming piece because that's what is non-traditional about what your students in 5th grade are receiving. Your students are getting 2 teachers in there all the time, and we are able to take those students, take all of the assessment data, take all the formative and summative data, so everything we're getting from your kids all the time. If you have a 5th grader, you know there are 1 million quick checks a week. It's ridiculous, it's for children. But we are taking that data, and then we are able to say, this specific student has this specific need. It happens to be that there's also 13 more. So we're going to take these kiddos and do what these kiddos need. And we're able to do that whether it's high, middle, or low. And then we can grow. I mean, we've seen, you can speak to this, we have the assessment data to say this standard has been met, this standard has been met, this standard has been met, this standard hasn't been met yet. By the way, in our curriculum, when you go through all of the standards for 5th grade, we have 2 more that we have yet to achieve. We're doing awesome. I am so proud of what our students are doing. I am so proud of what our teachers are doing in 5th grade. And this echoes other grade levels as well. But that unique situation that we have in the media center going on right now, it's unique because it looks different, but your kids are learning, and I don't think any of them are upset. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Ideally, how many classrooms are needed for? If we we'd need 4 to make so we didn't have classrooms in the media center. How many are desired? Of course, how many are desired? We'd like 5 or 6, right? So we could do some pull-out and other activities. If a child doesn't have a homeroom, for number 1, where do they keep their belongings? Good question. We haven't had time to think about that. We need more time as a staff if we decide to do that as a staff to go that route. I'm not even going to try to answer that because I don't want to say something and just not. We would put more time into that. We would make it work. Question 1, they want me to say that this is also a con. Illness may spread more easily, rapidly with shared spaces. Option 1, how much time would be lost in transition? How much time would be lost in transitions for traveling classrooms? For setup, wrapping up before moving. It's just, the time that would be lost would be going to the next classroom. Schedule-wise, if we went this route, I would change the schedule to make those rooms closer. Right now, with having so much specialist time, I can do a schedule where the rooms could be straight across from one another. Or just down the hall just away. So, yeah, but we have transition time right now when we go from 5th grade, Mrs. Penska's room to Mrs. Herbert's room. What do you mean, or, okay, no, that's so, okay. What do you mean by modified curriculum for art and music and Phi Ed? By that I mean, it wouldn't look the same. Modified means we don't have the same space that we would be able to do. Example for Phi Ed, maybe there wouldn't, maybe there wouldn't be baskets to shoot at. Maybe it's a smaller area. Maybe we can't do rhythm. Maybe we can't, help me out, Clark. Is that good? Same with music. How is it modified? Music isn't like when I went to school. It's not like you're reading music out of a book. It's a curriculum, baby. And we are doing some fun things. We're dancing, we're doing rhythms, we're doing different instruments, loud instruments. We're singing, we're learning notes. We're doing some creativity in a classroom. And when you go into a classroom and you're next door to a room, we would have to shut that noise level down. Okay, I think that helps with modified. Some students already have art on a cart, which is true. We have 3 classrooms that have art on a cart. Because we are, Leah, our art teacher, can only handle so many classrooms during the day, so we have 3 that Mrs. Farber comes down from Zimmerman and teaches on a cart. Will they ever get back into the art room? Yep. When our population goes down, they will eventually go into the art room after we do some movement of kids. Okay. Question, are the lockers an investment that will be needed anyway? Yep, we need them. It's up to the district if we want to put them in, or maybe there's a different idea on how we do lockers. But that's up to the district supporting the building and how we do that. Can kindergarten keep coats, boots in classroom and in cubbies? Yeah. Actually, we have Mrs. Swaggart has been doing that this year. She teamed up with Mrs. Stoltz, and we tried it, and it's working for kindergarten. They put their boots on a nice rack. It actually worked better. And so yes, it can work for kindergarten. Question 3, or the cons for 3, lighting in the gym. Yep. The con for number 4, which is the Minnesota school business, lunch cost, the cost to have lunch down there, security cost, to put security in. I had a question, do we know, does the Minnesota school business, will they still have students in the building if this took place?
Yeah, there's a couple of cards over there that we haven't gotten to, and it was noted by 2 or 3 different people that there will be still students in the School of Business until, I forget the date. March of 17. There's a veterinary program that's going to continue to be housed at that location, even with the district office there.
Thanks. Another con to number 3. What can someone tell me what number 3 is, quick? I should have known. Oh, because it says here too. Con. is our noise level echo in the gym, yes, especially for special ed kids, yes. Or sensory sensitive kids, yes. Very good. All related to music. Use one music room as a classroom, the other for music. If we, okay, so I think if I hear this right, use one of the music rooms as a classroom and the other one for music. That one doesn't quite work because we have to get 35 classrooms in the music. Okay, 35 classrooms, and one room won't hold that. Could you divide it? Or could you put 60 kids in for one music room? You be the judge. Can you explain how music next door, I think I did, can you explain how music next door to a classroom would be? It would, I can tell you the noise, it will travel through the roof, not necessarily through the walls, but through the roof, because the roof is open except for tiles at the top. Question 2, or music yet? Piano is not portable. Cost to have a portable keyboard. This would be another cost. Keep up. Charlie, got some more for me? Or did you hear? Oh, here's one. I'll just answer this. What is the capacity? What is the building capacity at Twin Lakes? The building capacity is designed for 775 students based on 25 kids per classroom. That's just the capacity that we do go through with the district. What is the capacity for fire code? I can tell you the fire marshal was out today and he has approved everything that we have here at school. One thing you have to know about the fire, some people have gotten interested in fire all of a sudden, which is okay, makes sense. It's based on doors and exits. And I learned a lot by going through the building with Fireman Cliffy. But we are very good to go. We are making one correction up in the media center, and that's just an exit light, which is being fixed in the next couple of weeks. And we're still given approval for it, just said we should add that. Okay, for question 4 and 5, school business, is there not any fixturing and other costs? Desks, chairs, etc.? Yeah, there would be cost, of course. there'd be moving costs of all the student desks down there and teacher desks, and so there definitely would be moving costs. I think, but the building itself, I think would be somewhat set up for that. A busing question for 4, 5, and 7. Busing question for 4, 5, and 7. How would busing work? Would you go to Twin Lakes and then other schools? Here's the answer that we talked to Vision a little bit. We still get better answers. But the question is, again, for 4 and 5, which is school business, and 7 is Lincoln, the kids would still come to Twin Lakes. The kids would come to Twin Lakes, and then they would be bused to the school if it was school business or Lincoln. Then at the school down at Lincoln or Minnesota School Business, then they would be bused back and get on a bus here and be then back on the same route. What else? I was just had a thought on that as well, but one thing about that we haven't talked about that we may need to talk about if we're with Lincoln, I'm not sure, but we probably would have to change one of our school's start times. That would be a possibility so we don't lose as much classroom time. That'd be something the principal and I would talk about. A con for number 7, kids may have to change schools 2 to 3 years. Okay. Yeah, this came up on a couple tables. Then it goes back to the policy, and I don't know how we'd answer this, Dr. Bezic, but a con is what if we move kindergarten, say to Lincoln, it defeats our purpose of the policy, which is you can't move students more than once in 5 years. And that's what this con is being brought up. And that's something the board would have to talk about. Give me that question. Oh. The question is, where are the board members? I can't answer that. The answer would be, I don't know. Okay, Dr. Bezic will address that, he said right now. I can't answer that. Option 7, which is 717. Who's in Lincoln? Would the same group of kids stay at Lincoln if this change needed to happen for multiple years? My answer to that is, we've been told by the board this is a 1-year fix. So would the kindergarten then move into first grade, I think is the question at Lincoln? The answer would be no. This is a 1-year fix, and it would depend on the next policy procedure of boundary lines, and then how that works. What's that? Oh, why is 8 an option? This should already have been done. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is done. It's okay. It is done, and it is a good question though. Why is it up here? I asked myself that, but the board asked to go over these 8. Why didn't we close open enrollment a few years ago? Actually, what we did a few years ago is it came down to grade levels. It starts with grade levels, and when I see a peak at a grade level, I have to go through district, and then the district administration discusses with me, and then they decide. We actually did shut down 2 grade levels 2 years ago, and that has followed through, but the majority of the schools closed down in April of the year before. Okay. Portables. Would this require a public vote on a new levy? No. The answer is no. We would use lease levy money. The district has lease levy money. But I will answer a question for everybody because it might have came up at different tables, and that question probably would have came up, but I answered it back there. The question is on the slideshow about it contradicts the bond, and I think it said something about contradicts bond and levy. What that means is we approved bond and levy, I think a couple of years ago. Was it 2 years ago? And in that bond and levy we voted as a public to get rid of portables that were at the high school and other places in the district. So it kind of contradicts by saying, ooh, we're going to bring some in. So that's what that meant. This question, is District 11 included in this conversation? Haven't they closed schools in the Anoka-Ramsey area? Since Ramsey is also growing, why can't they build a school, then change Ramsey boundary? The answer to that is each district solves and deals with its own population and its area. So, and it's governed by law in regards to boundary lines. It's above that's way back when the great-great-grandfathers decided to make boundary lines. Can you change boundary lines? Yes, if the other district agrees, and it's a process. Did you want to, Doctor? Thank you, Doctor.
Stand behind the camera. Hey, let's get the update. Very nice job. Very nice job. Jim, thank you. I'll try and answer this as politically correct as I can. The question came, why aren't board members here? over the last few months, if you followed in the paper a little bit, they're going through a governance change, a new model, which, to be honest, we're struggling because of communication and just the new expectations of board members and administration. So it's not helping right now. It kind of muddies the water a little bit, but we knew there's going to be some bumps in this process. Part of the issue is, are boundary lines operational, which falls on me, or is it policy related, which falls on the board? That's where we're struggling a little bit right now. As I mentioned before, I'm more of a business person now. I'll try and protect the interests of the district and the taxpayers and what have you. And I have to say honestly that by rebalancing the district, it's a very fiscally responsible thing to do. However, we get caught up in things like this here. Boundary changes and closing schools are huge losers for board members and administration because, no one's happy. Look what's playing out down in Stillwater and what have you. A little bit more about board members. They would have loved to have been here, but with this new model, they have to stay back because they have to evaluate what we bring to them. So it lays on us to hold these types of sessions. As I mentioned before, you're going to prioritize options here, and we'll go back to them. They will make the decision on that based on the input they get from the constituents, which are you. So that's kind of a little bit where we're at with this. The new model they're moving to, policy governance, it's a very good model. It defines everyone's sandboxes. And as a district gets bigger, it's a more organized way to run a district. We're a $130 million operation. We're not a small little district anymore. And we need to do some of this. And again, we're just going through the bumps in the road from that. So don't hold it against the board members because they're not here or anything. Part of the issue is that they have to stay at this level together, because if one or two of them were here, it kind of sets things off balance within the board. As I mentioned before, we've got could possibly have one board members this next fall. What will that do to the model? I don't know. Because everyone has to retrain, probably, depending on what happens there. So, I hope that answers the question with
They're going to throw out the option for one application. We took time out of our schedule here.
I just explained that. That's the way it's working right now. They're going to hear all this information. They have to hear it that way. I will be around here for a while, and we have other. Oh, okay. Yeah, just one last thing. With the 8 options, we had to stretch to get these 8 options out there. These are things that have been done in the district before as far as moving kids around. It's not, these things aren't new. And again, some of them, I can tell you right now, as Dan said, he's got his biases on some of them. I do too. But again, this is going to be, what you guys put down up here is going to carry a lot of weight in what direction to go with that. So.
Okay, we gotta get kids to bed, I bet, huh? Or moms and dads have to get back to bed. Whoops. Okay. I think that each person has 2 dots, and no, we don't here. You can't hoard dots now. We only want 2 dots per person. Raise your hand if you don't have 2 dots. Still come around. We missed a bunch. While they're handing out dots, again, I want to finish by saying this before I leave you. I feel confident, you guys. I feel confident that we will educate and do our best with your kids. I am confident in our staff, so I hope that we were helpful tonight. When you get your dots, you can come up, you can put them on. Also, from what I hear, Charlie, there will be a survey going out to just Twin Lakes parents, right? A survey will be coming out in sometime either tomorrow or Monday. We think tomorrow, but it could be Monday. A survey will come out to parents. For the people that weren't here, for the people that weren't here. That's why we had you sign in. Okay, thanks for coming. You can put your dots on one, or you